Carlson and I have been in an internet slugfest for the last 36 hours. It has not been fun for either one of us. It all started when I read a posting on his website, The Daily Caller. It was posted Friday night. It's pretty plain. Tucker Carlson and I disagree, really disagree. Tucker Carlson, editor of The Daily Caller, joins us. Good evening, Tucker.
Evening, Greta.
All right, Tucker, we got three choices. You can read what was written on your website that I find disgusting and vile. I can read it, or we can dispense of it. Where do you want to start?
Well, let me just say, I find it disgusting and vile, too. We wrote a news story about Mike Tyson's attack, verbal attack on Sarah Palin. Mike Tyson is a convicted rapist, and he used sexually violent and threatening language to describe Governor Palin. Our view was that if he had said those words about any other woman in public life, he'd said that about Hillary Clinton, if he'd said them about the First Lady, if he said about Madeleine Albright, they'd be on the front page of the New York Times. But because it was Sarah Palin he was attacking, they would be ignored by news outlets that don't like Sarah Palin. And I felt that that was wrong, that this happened, that we ought to hold it up to public view, and that Mike Tyson ought to suffer the consequences for what he said. Somehow you, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you didn't read the piece, assume that we were somehow making this attack on Sarah Palin, which is the opposite, in fact, of what we were doing.
All right, let me answer it. First of all, I think you're lying, Tucker, about something. You know I love you, Tucker. But first of all, when you wrote the story, when it went on Friday night, it had none of that. I've got the whole story here. Well, people started raising holy hell because of what you wrote. And so about 16 hours later, the next morning, you suddenly come up with this idea that you write on it this sort of editorial note that wasn't there the night before, but simply, as I see it, was covered because what was written here is not journalism. It is actually sort of glorifies, it glorifies, let me finish. It glorifies violence on women. You had every opportunity.
Please stop your ad hominem attacks, Greta, and let me address the facts of what you're saying.
I want to talk about hominem attacks. Let's talk about the guy who wrote this is now putting pictures of me interviewing Mike Tyson on his Twitter. You want to talk about hominem attacks?
Greta, the fact is that our story has not changed. I added an editor's note the following day because a couple of people on Twitter misunderstood, reading only the headline and not the story.
All right, do you want me to read the story?
Let me finish my sentence.
You made a good point. You say the headline. Let's talk about the headline.
We were somehow making these allegations or attacks against Sarah Palin. We were reporting them as we would when Al-Qaeda says we're going to destroy America. We report it. We don't endorse it. We hold it up for the public to denounce.
Let me read your stuff that's so newsworthy that had no editorial comment. First of all, let's say it's a headline, Sarah Palin met the womb shifter. And I'm not talking about I'm talking here about being
It's repulsive.
It's repulsive.
It's repulsive.
There is no place on Friday night that you say it's repulsive.
Point, that is the point of the piece.
You know what? It's funny,
it's
Tucker.
It's prima facie repulsive. Do you think we're endorsing this?
Tucker,
and by the way, let me just say
Tucker,
these words are from Mike Tyson.
Tucker, here's the problem. You know what, Tucker? You're not a first offender with me. I gave you the benefit of the doubt when 6 months earlier you wrote that MILF comment on your tweet.
Now,
you're not a first offender on this.
Let me say two things. One. As you know, I have said dumb things. That was a dumb thing. I'll say more. I apologized, and I'm genuinely sorry for it. I've known you for almost 20 years. You know, I have a wife and 3 daughters. I like women more than I like men. To call me a sexist. Hold on, slow down.
That's why I don't get it.
Let me, please, if I could just finish. Second, these are the words of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a convicted rapist. I'm offended by Mike Tyson.
Is it journalism?
Slow down. You had Mike Tyson on your show in April of this year, and you asked him nothing about his sexual assault, nothing about his rape, nothing about his attack against women. You asked him questions like, how long have you been a vegan? Then you sent out a photograph of yourself smiling and laughing with Mike Tyson.
All right, let's back up. Wait, let me back up. If you back up about 4 years earlier, I actually did interview Mike Tyson about the rape case about 4 years ago.
Greta, if you're so offended by Mike Tyson, why didn't you ask him a real question? You gave a puff interview to him.
I expect a convicted rapist to be that. If I go to prison, that's the kind of stuff I hear.
Then why did you give him the puppy treatment on your show, Greta? Why didn't you ask him a single hard question? Instead, you let him talk about his pigeons.
No, when I go to your website, let me go to your website.
So people could judge what an animal is.
Are you going to let me talk? You let me talk? When I go to your website, this is what I read when I go to your website. Ready for this? Glenn Rice, who's a basketball player, is a nice, mellow, docile man, non-threatening guy.
That's
you want someone like Rodman.
From Mike Tyson.
Baby. But do you consider that journalism? Why did you put that up there?
Greta, that is a quote from Mike Tyson.
But you know what,
Osama bin Laden says, I'm going to destroy Israel, we quote him as well.
Tucker, it is a lie.
I agree with you. It's repulsive.
It is a lie to say that you put an editorial comment that you thought was bad. You waited 16 hours till you got caught with your pants down on it.
I didn't get caught with my pants down. I never changed the article. It remains on the site to this day.
Why didn't you put that editorial comment on the beginning? Why didn't you put it there?
Were not reading the article. They were making snap judgments baked on the headline.
Which part of this
Greta,
horrible stuff don't I get?
You may notice there are quotation marks. It's a punctuation mark like that.
I understand
around
that,
those
Tucker.
words. Those words came from Mike Tyson's mouth. The same Mike Tyson you talked to about his pigeons.
You know what? I didn't talk about
yes, you
rearranging
did. I just read the transcript today.
No. Of course I did, because you know what? I have
sucked up to Mike Tyson.
No, I didn't. You know what?
He's a convicted rapist,
You're a purveyor of
smut. You could ask him a tough question.
You're a purveyor of smut.
And you didn't.
All right. Well,
no, I'm not. I'm quoting a convicted rapist
and
attacking
I'm quoting you,
one of the most
MILF,
prominent
and I'll quote you as MILF.
female
How about that?
politicians in this
country.
country.
Explain that. Explain the MILF. Explain the crap the stuff you have here.
Greta, you know that you can't defend. Look, you were mistaken. I get it. I'm mistaken all the time. You misread the piece. And the truth is, we were not attacking Sarah Palin for a second, as you know. We were not attacking Sarah Palin. We are holding this up so readers could understand the filth that was coming out of Tyson's mouth.
Tucker, I'm not
That is not an experience they would have gotten from watching him on your show and your pigeon conversation.
I'm not saying that you're attacking Sarah Palin. I'm saying that you are the purveyor of the worst smut, violence against women, and you don't get it. And
that's an appalling thing to say, Greta.
Well,
actually,
read your own website.
Women are not safe as long as we hide comments like this. That is outrageous and patronizing.
Believe that. You didn't put that editorial note on until you got caught. That's just cover. That's just cover.
Question. Greta,
Tucker, we're not that stupid.
Your argument with respect does not make sense. Answer this question. If Mike Tyson had said this about the First Lady of the United States or about Hillary Clinton, would you also say that we should pretend he didn't say it? That we should somehow keep this news? No, you wouldn't.
You know what, Tucker? You tried to hide it.
Either.
You tried to hide it with that little editorial note 16 hours later.
It's still on the website.
You tried to hide your motive.
There's not one word in there. Look. You didn't understand that we were not attacking Sarah Palin, that in fact...
Gotta go. I'm told we gotta go. Come back tomorrow, Tucker.
Read the piece, Greta.
Coming up.
Thank you.